yet.
No, look, there's I always say I respect Terence Crawford. He's a very talented fighter, but he just win one big fight. If you see his record, he just beat one good fighter like Errol Spence is.
Yes.
But other than that, I don't think he's beating other great fighter like Spence. He did a really good job with the Spence. He did like almost look very easy.
But I'm gonna go with Canelo because he didn't hold Turkey's hand.
It's two things that you can do with somebody bigger and stronger. You know, you can either try to push them back, you know, because 9 times out of 10, a strong fighter not used to going back.
Canelo Alvarez reacts to Terence Crawford's knockouts by showing respect for his skills. He admits Crawford did a very good job against Errol Spence, making the win look surprisingly easy. However, Canelo also points out that Spence is the only major name Crawford has truly beaten, questioning the rest of his record. Looking ahead, Canelo says everyone will see what happens when they meet in the ring, leaving fans eager for answers.
Are you tired of people asking you about Terence yet?
No, look, I always say I respect Terence Crawford. He's a very talented fighter, but he just win one big fight. If you see his record, he just beat one good fighter like Errol Spence is.
Yes.
But other than that, I don't think he's beating other great fighter like Spence. He did a really good job with the Spence. He did like almost look very easy. But I knew Terence Crawford is a great fighter. But you never know in boxing. We'll see.
Are you tired of people asking you about Terence yet? No. Look, like I always say, I respect Graf. He's a very talented fighter, but he just win a one big fight. If you see his record, he just beat a one good fighter like Errol Spence is. Yes. But other than that, I don't think he's beating other great fighter like Spence. He did a really good job with the Spence. He did like almost look very easy but I knew Scramble is a great fighter, but you never know in boxing. We'll see. Canelo hints that he already understands Crawford's techniques and style, showing confidence in his preparation. He adds with a smile that Turkey Alalshik will be very upset on fight night since he will be standing in Crawford's corner, making the showdown even more intense and personal. Nothing you're going to be able to do about it come fight night. And I know Turkey is in your corner, but I promise you, look, it's going to be very difficult. He's going to be so mad that day. Believe me. I see you. I see you. You see I'm here. I see you too. Canelo's decision to bring in Jiren Ennis for sparring is being seen as a very smart move. Johnny Ortiz explains that Ennis is the closest match to Terence Crawford's body type and fighting style, making him the perfect training partner. This allows Canelo to study Crawford's rhythm, movement, and physical advantages in real time while sharpening his own timing and defense. At the same time, Ennis gains priceless experience by working with a veteran like Canelo, which adds to his own development. Ortiz sees this as a rare situation where both boxers improve, making the setup highly strategic. It makes sense, and is definitely a good experience for both Eddie Reynoso and Canelo. Shout out to them because now it shows that they serious with a real game plan and boost to me. Everybody's a perfect opponent I wouldn't say opponent, perfect sparring partner to have to replicate Crawford because they both switch hitters and stuff like that, and they got dog in them and reflexes for sure. So it shows Canelo serious and on boots, and to be able to spar a Hall of Famer top tier guys gave him great experience, and you could tell he really wants it. It's a sport where Boots is getting an opportunity to spar a Hall of Famer. Who cares? And in reality, what the A__A loyalty does a Boots owe to Crawford when it comes to the sport of boxing? I mean, Crawford didn't do A__A even back while Boots was trying to get his opportunity when it was Spencer Crawford, every time Boots' name got mentioned, you hear the bug clowns be like, "Oh yeah, he don't deserve it. Oh, who did he fight? Oh, who this and that, man." I ain't trying to hear that shit. It's like different. It's different, a that you need to be woke up outside of boxing. Boxing is a sport. There's a that we need to really come together. I didn't see y'all come together like 5 years. The Bud Clowns 'cause it's real fans. The Bud Clowns is bashing PBC. Everything Boots bring every when you bring up Boots' name putting him down. I didn't hear like, oh yeah, instead of fighting Canelo or fighting this person, he should fight Boots. Josiah Copyright Bends highlights how valuable Canelo Alvarez's decision is in choosing John Boots Ennis as a sparring partner. According to him, Ennis mirrors Crawford in several important ways, including physique, movement, and style. By having someone with similar attributes in training camp, Canelo can mentally prepare for the type of fighter he will face on fight night. Benvitz also argues that Crawford's smaller size compared to Canelo will play a role when they meet in the ring. For him, training with a physically strong and stylistically comparable partner not only boosts Canelo's confidence, but also makes him believe he already has the advantage before the opening bell rings to give Canelo maybe a little bit more confidence that he is sparring somebody really good and is a really good fighter. I think that would be a good motivation, for Canelo Alvarez. I just think that a Crawford is too small for Canelo. I think Canelo is too big for Crawford. But in my opinion, I think if a Crawford can maybe just tap get out, tap hook, get out, maybe once in a while throw a straight punch and just win by points and use his legs. I think I see him winning by decision. But if he tries to exchange with Canelo Ehlers, I think he's gonna make a mistake and he's gonna get hit with one shot and maybe he can get hurt, and then that would change the whole fight, But I think he's faster. Crawford is faster and then a straight punch get out, Don't stay there to throw or try to trade with the Canelo Ehlers. Okay. Fair to say. Fair to say. Now, do you feel like when it comes down to the demeanor of making that decision of bringing it in, does it show that he's taking this camp perhaps a little bit more serious than others? I mean, what do you think about just the move per se? It's very difficult to say. He's never brought anybody really good to his camp until this time. Maybe he's lacking enough of confidence. Or maybe he just wants to use him to trick the people, it's very awkward and very funny that he brought in and to his camp but at the end of the day they know what they're doing and we got to respect that, and I think the global demand for boxing has shifted into a new era where streaming services now set records for live events. The Netflix showdown between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson drew an astonishing 65 million viewers, making it the biggest fight in terms of audience numbers. That event proved the appetite for combat sports is far greater than traditional expectations. Now, the upcoming clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford carries the weight of potentially surpassing that figure. This isn't just about two fighters meeting in the ring. It is about history being made on a global scale. Fans across different continents are waiting to see if this fight can generate even more excitement and engagement than the Jake vs. Mike spectacle. Like Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, which was obviously on Netflix as well. The biggest concurrent view was 65 million. So at one stage out of a time 65 million people were watching that fight, which is crazy. Hence why it broke Netflix servers. I do wonder what this does. I think it does around 10 to 15, which is still an incredible number. The problem with these two, and I was saying this morning actually to Gareth Faye Davis, like there's no antagonizer here, is there? No one is willing to play the role of the bad guy, the hill, the bully. And you almost need that a little bit. Like Jake Paul was actually quite smart in the way which he promoted the Tyson. Obviously, look, it's Mike Tyson, but it was promoted so well where Jake was willing to be the guy that, I'm going to, up the greatest fighter of all, he was willing to kind of say all those things and play that role. So, people almost tuned in to see him get chinned as well. Neither of these guys are playing that role. Neither of these guys, I don't think, have crossed over massively to non-boxing fans. I mean, to us, they're like gods, but to non-boxing fans, I do wonder how much people know them. Terence Crawford has never been a fighter who backs away from challenges, and his preparation for Canelo shows how carefully he approaches strategy. Crawford acknowledges the difficulties of fighting larger opponents, but insists there are effective solutions. The first is to push bigger fighters backward, something they are often not comfortable with because their size and strength usually allow them to dictate the pace moving forward. It's two things that you can do with somebody bigger and stronger. You can either try to push them back, because 9 times out of 10 a strong fighter not used to going back, so it kind of a them up in the head, or even just boxing because some of them just slower than others because they got flat foot, flat feet, and they just looking to load up on certain shots. Now, Crawford's definitely right here. There's 2 ways to beat a pressure fighter like Canelo. Either you put the pressure back on him, which is where guys like Triple G and Bibble had success, or you use your superior skills and footwork on the outside, which is how Floyd Mayweather won. Now Crawford, he can't use the pressure approach because he's not as physically dominant as guys like Golovkin or Bible. Bud is a welterweight or junior middleweight jumping up. He doesn't have the size to push Canelo back. Now, the outside boxing approach, that is definitely